day or two. So when you're all done with your contour lines, you're going to add line quality, and you have a nice little packet. Remember, you guys got a packet that kind of goes through all the contour line drawings, all the steps. And instead of step number 4 in here, this is just a copy of the PowerPoint you went through. It says adding line quality with marker. All right, so the very last page of that looks like this. And this is not something that you're limited to. These are just ideas. If you guys have questions, you can wait and I'll answer them later. All right, so there are a variety of examples on this sheet, but like I said, you're not limited to one. You don't have to pick one and only do that. You don't have to use them all. It's kind of up to you. I will tell you right now that I kind of just want to cross this one out, and I don't know why I haven't done that permanently yet. I don't really like that one much. But there are markers over there on top of the chalk, and I'm going to try to find some more to fill it up with so you guys each have enough. But make sure you put them back every day because those are all the ones that I have for all my classes. But line quality is basically how you're going to show depth, because we're not shading. Remember, we're not doing any values at all in this drawing. So to show that something is closer or further away, we're going to make our lines either thicker or thinner to show that depth. So line quality literally means how sensitive your lines are in thickness, how sensitive they are in terms of how they pick up the shape and sort of mimic the shape and the form that you see on your leaves. So again, these are just examples. You can make the lines darker or thicker. Anytime you see the word darker, you can just assume it means thicker. Where you want to emphasize or make something stand out, and this is kind of where your focal point comes into play. You're going to have an area of this drawing that stands out the most, and you're going to do that with chalk, but you can also add some more dramatic changes in your line quality to make it stand out more than the rest of the leaves or the rest of the bones, whatever you chose to do. You could make it darker at the turns, so where you see the leaf kind of bend and fold, you can make it darker there. Anywhere that it's lighter, no matter what, if it's lighter, it's going to kind of recede in the background. It's not going to stand out as much as if it's thicker or darker, it's going to jump out at the viewer and draw attention. So basically, you want to plan ahead and make that an intentional decision. And then this last one just gives you an idea of, like, maybe we'll make it darker where there might be shadows, maybe if you want to do the underside of the leaves. And you know what, and in that case, don't, in any case anyway, don't ignore the stems. They have a top and a bottom and a side also, so you can definitely play around with the line quality for them as well. So now, you can do any combination of those things. Like I said, you're not limited to them. But you do want to do some kind of line quality to every single leaf that you have, some level. So your most significant changes you want to make on the ones that you want to stand out. So the first step, this can be a really short demo as long as I don't have to stop every 5 seconds because you're talking. Or it can take 20 minutes. So this first step, I'm kind of scoot this over. I just have the one leaf, but once you guys have your whole paper filled up, somebody started this last week, so it's a little bit of a repeat for you. But once you're done with your pencil, you have all your contour lines done, whether it's bones or leaves, you're going to then go through with the marker and you're going to trace it just the thickness of the marker. So don't think about anything more than that. It's pretty mindless. You just trace every line you did. And it's going to be the thinnest line you can make is just that one line with the marker. And then you can go back leaf by leaf and decide where you want it to be darker. And I think that's just an easier way of doing it. So if I was doing that, I would do that to all my leaves. I'd just go in here with one smooth line. Like, you don't want them to be sketchy. You're going to kind of trick people into making them think that you just magically drew with a marker and never had to erase and never made any mistakes. All right, you're going to erase your pencil eventually. But you're going to come in here. You're going to trace all the lines that you did already in one smooth, singular line, one contour line. Even the ones on the inside. And you do want this to be the thinnest mark you can make, because you can't make it any skinnier after this point. It's going to be the lightest looking mark you make. And then from there, so then you just have a basic line. If most of your leaves look like this, then this isn't going to be good enough. You want to do more. So that's just the basic thing. And the next part is to take a look at it and decide where you're going to add more changes in line quality. How sensitive are your lines to the form that you're drawing? So you want to show some kind of depth within each leaf, but the most significant changes you probably want to make on the ones you want to stand out the most, your focal point. So I don't know. I tend to kind of do a lot of this one where like the underside where there might be a shadow, make it a little thicker. And I do this a lot where I'll just draw that how wide I want it to be and then I'll fill that in. Again, trying to make it stay pretty even. You don't want it to look sketchy. So I think I would kind of go towards this side. I think I would make this side a little thicker. I do also like to do that where on the turns I make it a little thicker. And I think it's easiest to just draw in that extra edge and then color it in. So it almost, when you're done, looks like you use like a calligraphy marker. Like you were using one swoop and that's just the thickness of that side of the pen. And you might make mistakes like I just did when you're coloring in, and that's okay. It just means you kind of have to adjust. You can't really erase your marker. Don't ask me for white out. It'll look terrible. You're not going to put white out on your paper. You're going to have to work with your mistakes. Figure out a way to fix them. But there's really no wrong way to do this, to be honest, other than not doing enough or rushing through it and not really planning it out that well. One thing that's pretty popular is to kind of show where the leaves bend in at that center vein. A lot of times it's helpful to make that line even thicker just at the base or at the root, I guess, where it starts, and let it get thinner as it goes out. That's a pretty popular and effective thing, like so. Or wherever you see the deepest indent, maybe it's in the middle like that. That's okay too. The big thing is that you are doing something on every line in each line. You're going to do this right here. So you get to pick and choose at this point. I'm not looking at a leaf to do it. You don't. At that point, you could probably turn the leaves in. You probably don't need them anymore, unless you want to be looking at the actual shadows. That's fine. But you kind of just pick and choose as you go through, and you want to do something. There should be some degree of line quality changes on each leaf, and like I said, your most dramatic ones should be on your focal point. And that's pretty much it. When this is all dry, you want to be really, really careful. When you're done with your marker, you want to let it sit there for about 2 minutes, let it dry, and then erase all your pencil lines, because if you erase it too early and the marker is wet, you're going to smear it, and there's no fixing that either.